I received these three books today, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So this is kind of mini book haul with a spiritual touch. So the first one is the Arkady and Boris Strugatsky's Roadside Picnic. Caught my attention because of the video game by Hideo Kojima, and it's called Death Stranding. This book is said to have connections to that game, so I got very curious. This is about Red Shoeheart. He's a stalker, and he's one of those odd people, it seems like, that though extreme danger, he can want to venture into legal zones to collect mysterious artifacts and also maybe come in contact with aliens. This is sci-fi. The foreword is written by Ursula K. Le Guin, famous in fantasy and sci-fi, as we all know. This made it also extra interesting for me to buy the book. I'm going to read it quite quickly and review it here on the channel. There's also a movie I've heard that which is good. I haven't seen it, and I won't do that before I've read the book. And why the spiritual connection when it comes to this book? It's, as I understand it from the foreword, quite political in a way, because during the Soviet era and the former Soviet Union, it was, of course, difficult to raise your voice about what you thought about things. So doing that through sci-fi was one of the ways doing that. And I know actually Andrei Sapkowski, the Witcher author, did similar things with Witcher as well. So interested in that. But since it's related to Death Stranding, I suppose this has to do with a lot of connection and human connection, also finding meaning in your life and meaning in society. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to give you a spiritual perspective on this book. I also got the continuation of Ruocchio, Christopher Ruocchio's Sun Eater series. There are interviews with Ruocchio here on the channel if you are interested about that. The fifth book, Ashes of Man. I recently finished Kingdoms of Death, which you can watch reviewed here on the channel as well. I really enjoyed the first three books. I think the fourth one was more of a challenge for me, mostly because it was very painful to read for different reasons, which you can learn more about in the review. It's said that Kingdoms of Death and Ashes of Man is actually one book, but the publisher divided it up to two books. I'm curious to continue Hadrian Marlowe's journey. It's highly spiritual, this book, because it has to do with, you could say, his ambition of becoming something that his father didn't want, his relatives didn't want. He went out on this very spiritual journey to find himself, to find the things he was searching for. He was very convinced what that was, but everything has become something very different. So I think he doubts his choices. I think he questions his relationships to his friends, which he sometimes uses as pawns, I think. I also think that he, since this is written by Hadrian himself, it's a personal account. It's an unreliable narrator. We don't know what's true or not. There are many spiritual connections here to Christianity, especially, and Catholicism, I would say, but also to ancient Greek and ancient Rome. And there are a lot of words that make us, associate this with the spirituality of the ancient Europe, which is very interesting. It's a kind of light on that spiritual aspect, but if you really think about Hadrian's journey, we get a strong feeling of the journey of Jesus too, with pain, I would say, and suffering. So let's continue this. This book is actually related to the third one that came to me as well. That is the Gene Wolfe's Book of the New Sun. This is the continuation. Already reviews on the two first books here on the channel, and I have a spiritual talk with the Reverend J, Contemplative reader. We had it once, and we're going to record quite soon a new talk about the first two books. So not much needed to be said maybe about the Book of the New Sun, but if you don't know about it, this is about Severian. He's a torturer. He goes against the rules of the guild, the Torturers Guild, and he gets a sword and later a claw, and he's on a quest to a city called Trax, and this is really a spiritual quest because it's about who he is after being thrown out from this guild. It's also about many Christian themes and other religious themes like rebirth, baptism, what is love, what is desire, and so on. And it's also like Sun Eater, but it was Sun Eater who copied Gene Wolfe, of course. But Severian is an unreliable narrator, so we don't know what's true or not. There's also a lot of very odd archetypical characters, tropey in a way, but and it is science fiction, sci-fi fantasy book, but I really couldn't tell that if I didn't know it from the start. So it's fascinating. It has a lot of spiritual depth, not only when it comes to the journey of Severian, but it has also that when it comes to all the concepts and words that are being used here, which relates back to not only Christian faith, but Argentine mythology, to Hinduism, to Buddhism, to the many Greek oracles, for example. So there's a lot in here to unpack, and it's very, very layered. And I got advice to read this after I finished Malasan Book of the Fallen. So far, I haven't regretted that choice. So I'm looking forward to telling more about this one as well. So that was the three books. I have two surprises behind me here for you, which are not new, as meaning new that I bought them and they have recently arrived to me, but it's books that I found. You can look in your bookshelf and maybe you find books you haven't read for a while, and in that sense they can be new for you. So it's Siddharta's Herman Hesse. See if you can see this like this. This is actually it's a Buddha story, obviously, and it's actually about Siddharta and his story being a Brahmin and living in this beautiful place, palace, and so on. But then he realized that life is not like in the palace. He goes outside and see that people are suffering. So that you have the Buddha story there. But this is written in a different way, and it doesn't follow the Buddha story. So it's Siddhartha is just a name, as I understand it, and then he has to work, for example, and he has to do things in life or different chores, and he gets spiritual enlightenment from that, and we get spiritual enlightenment too. So it says on the back here that seeking means to have a goal, but finding means to be free. So if you haven't heard of this one, I really recommend it to you to read it. It's very, very short, as you see, but as always with short books, it's a lot of wisdom there. And since I talked about Roadside Picnic by Strugatsky, I have the Death Stranding book here. Just a shout out that you can actually read books from the Death Stranding universe, and a great story, Death Stranding, where the focus is on rebuilding human connections that was lost due to a strong belief in technology and AI from the previous society before that society got destroyed. This is in America, by the way. So, few books, 5 books. And if you have advice to me, I'm happy to hear about them. One of you recommended Hyperion recently, so I'm going to look up that book. And there are things happening on the channel. So in just a few days, I'm going to record with Rick, a follower and a friend here on the channel. And we're going to talk about Shogun, the first half of the book, basically. It will be with spoilers. We will have a spoiler-free part first, but then spoilers. There's a lot of things we can talk about there when it comes to identity and spirituality. So I'm looking forward to that. And I will also talk to a contemplative reader, Jay, about the Book of the New Sun. So there are things going on here. I hope you like it. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.